Millions of Pakistani immigrants are currently living in the United Kingdom. Most of them came to the UK in search of employment, higher education, and a better future. Britain has long been a haven for migrants looking for better opportunities, and this country has helped many immigrants in providing a good and peaceful future. For my final and major project among the Pakistani immigrants, I looked for people who came here in their early years or born here. They made their place in this society with hard work and dedication and protected their values, also paved the way for more excellent opportunities for the new generation. Being a British Pakistani, this topic is near to my heart. How I have become a part of this society after going through many difficulties. But if you never give up achieving your goal, then you reach the destination. British society is more welcoming and easier to integrate, according to my own personal experience. 3 generations of Pakistani immigrants are represented in my report, who integrated themselves into this society while intact with their identity. This is the story of making your place in British society through hard work, grit, and courage.
My name is Masood Rana. I'm British Pakistani, and I'm actually proud to be both.
I'm Naeem Raza. I am proud to be Muslim. I'm proud to be Pakistani. That is my motherland, and I'm proud to be British.
I was 6 years old when I came, actually. I came with my cousin, and we went to Bristol. The intention of my parents, because they're the one that sent me, I had no choice, I was very young, but the intention was for me to have a better life. They wanted me to have education.
I was born in Huddersfield in Yorkshire in 1964. I know I don't look it, but that was nearly 58 years ago. Our childhood was very innocent. It was a different world in 1964. And the early years, I remember we had houses that had toilets outside, so there was no toilet inside. My father was the first person to take the bathroom, as in the bath, from the basement up into an actual room. And it was the days when we would play outside in the streets until it was 11 o'clock at night, until it got dark. Then your mums would call you in.
I distinctly remember when I was, I couldn't speak a word of English. As a 6-year-old Pakistani, there was no concept of learning English in Pakistan. So when I came, and I think within a week, I was put in school. And I couldn't speak, I couldn't talk to anyone. I was put at the back of the class. But gradually, alhamdulillah, I think the local authorities were very, very good with me. The teachers were very kind, they were very nice. And eventually, I managed to quickly catch up. The neighborhood was nice. The gentleman next door to us, I remember, he was a shop owner. And him and his wife were very nice.
So it's very, very innocent days, very different days compared to what we're seeing today.
Yeah, those were the very best days of my life, to be honest with you. I was in Brunel University. It was a college in those days. We had very few universities in those days, and so I joined Brunel College. Initially, I wanted to be a pilot, and but my medical didn't come up to scratch. So then I decided to join Brunel College, which was offering an aircraft engineering course. I cannot imagine the facilities that this country has given to us. You had wonderful libraries, you had nice teachers. It was a hard struggle. I had to walk from home to the uni. I couldn't afford a bicycle, there wasn't anything like that. So we had to walk something like 6-7 miles to the university every day and every day back. But the good thing about this country is that if you are willing to integrate, they are willing to accept you within limitations.
I went to a school actually quite far away from my house, so I used to get a bus every morning to get to school. I don't know why we were allocated to that particular school. It was quite a distance. And And then from Huddersfield, we moved to Glasgow, to Cumbernauld, a place called Cumbernauld in 1979. So I went to another school there. I did very well at school actually, in sports, maths, English. I got great grades in the standard grades, and also we call them highers in Scotland, they're called A-levels. And I got into university, alhamdulillah. But university, I was a flop. It was, I did a degree in accounts, but I failed it. And there were many reasons, because my life outside the university wasn't a good life.
In that day, you had to integrate. You, because you were a foreigner, you were coming out with different things. Your skin color was different, and so the effort had to be 100% yours, and then they would accept you in. Whereas nowadays, it's a global village.
I think I personally didn't face racism at school or at university. I think we're at a time when it didn't really exist. My father's era, my father faced racism a couple of times. But I'm not sure if it was racism, because we had the black communities in the same estate, we had the Pakistani communities, we had the Indian communities. It was very much integrated. Once in a while we would get into a fight and it would be divided, but I don't think that was racism. I think that was just youth, to be honest. So I've never really faced anything myself, although no doubt there has been indirect racism over the course of history. And there might be some examples, but I don't think they're strong enough in my life that I would say, there was direct racism.
We faced a lot of discrimination at that point. We also faced a lot of discrimination when we applied for jobs. In those days, you wrote your name and that was it. You went to the bottom of the list. I felt very happy, obviously for myself. I still remember my examination in London. It was by, excuse the word, Gora, but he conducted my examination. It was a very tough examination. And when I asked him how he did, he said, "We'll inform you." And I remember still in those days, I said, "Look, I'm coming from Bristol, traveling all the way to London for my verbal examination. Should I be happy or not?" He said, "Go and have a good time," without telling me the results. But he said, "Yeah, go and have a good time."
My first job, unfortunately, was 3 jobs, and they were all in places that probably weren't the best places. The first one was in a bookies, where they put the marks up for the horse racing and the football, the gambling. That's where my first job was. At the same time, I had a job in the evening where I used to work as a bouncer in a nightclub and a DJ. And the third job I had was working in a fashion clothes shop. So I had all these 3 jobs going on and university at the same time. So you can see why I failed university.
It was very, very hard, particularly during my apprenticeship days and my early days. I remember I was given cleaning jobs to do, whereas I was a qualified engineer and I could have done proper aircraft work. They intentionally kept me there. But the idea is not to give up. The idea is that you stick to the task, do what they ask you to do, and then eventually you form some friendship. It takes a bit of time. And eventually we overcome all those discrimination. And what it is that you prove yourself. Whereas now maybe you don't have to fight to prove yourself. But in those we had to fight, absolutely fight.
It's very strange because I used to work in the civil service. So after the life insurance market trader, I actually got a job in the civil service. I was a civil servant for 20 years with the HMRC. I used to collect money then, I collect money now, alhamdulillah. I think what we have to understand is that British values and Pakistani values and Muslim values are not really different from each other. They're very similar. Everybody wants the same thing. It's about integrating, not assimilating. We don't have to copy everything. We have to take the best from the culture that we live in, and we then give them the best of our culture as well. So if you think, people, they love our food, for example. They love our clothing, they love our weddings. There are things that we do they find phenomenal. They love our masajid, there's so much peace and calm in them. And we have to love certain things. They're very punctual, they're very organized. If you think about the whole of society, we've all got something to give to each other. And that's how societies have developed over the years. We can't live them and us. It has to be us, full stop. So I think it's about integration, it's about making sure that we're aware of our surroundings. We just have a thin line where we stop. and said, this is not for us. And actually, if you think about it, you look at someone like Muhammad Salah, Sadio Mane, Khabib, the MMA fighter, look at the example they're setting in the public domain, even on media. And we need to be examples. They're still integrated, they still play football every week, he still fights, or he's retired now, but he will stop at the point where alcohol is on the table, or X, Y, and Z. So we need to try and take the best out of each other and develop a new society, because this is a new society. Britain will be very different in a few years to come.
Hi, my name is Amara and I was born in the UK and I'm from Pakistan and I study in the UK as well. I haven't heard that many stories because I was quite young when they used to tell them, but I do know that my grandfather from my dad's side struggled a lot and he didn't grow up in a lot of money, and neither did my grandma. So when they did come to the UK, my grandpa used to live in a factory and his finger actually got cut off while working there. So he tried and he struggled a lot to try bring up my dad and his brothers and his siblings to try get like the best education they could, and they did come from no money though. No, I feel like I don't struggle, and I feel really blessed to be living in this society where I don't have to struggle, since my parents, and thank you to them, they have sacrificed a lot to, like, you know, give us a good life and a good education, and to make sure that we don't have the life that their parents had. Obviously we probably weren't told most of the stories that our parents and our grandparents have gone through, but I do have to say thank you to my parents, and I'm really appreciative of them for bringing me up in this society and for sacrificing so much to bring us to where we are now and to give us a good education, a roof over our heads, food, everything that we have. And because of that, I'm really proud to be a British Pakistani.